In today's episode, I have generally been looking forward to recording this one because we are talking about something that I think about a lot. And honestly, it gets me a little bit fired up. And we're going to call out toxic social media advice that I am so tired of seeing. The type of advice that keeps getting shared like goddamn gossip. And I just think it is time that we had a real conversation about it. There's so much advice out there about how to grow on social media. You need to please the algorithm, post 100 trial reels a day to grow. This is how you go viral. You need to niche down completely to make it, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, not only am I so sick of this advice, I'm so sick of how social media has been feeling lately. I have never in my life hated looking at social media more than I have now. And it sucks because it's my job. It is so overwhelming. And I have been in the industry for over 7 years. So for someone that is new trying to navigate this platform, I could only imagine how overwhelming it feels for you. So I want to list out some advice being shared from gurus that I cannot stand to hear anymore and some better alternatives that you can do to grow. So if you have been following me for a while, I do preach like sometimes to niche down, but I do think there is a certain extent to how much you niche down, or else you get completely stuck in what you do. Because the version most people hear is pick the narrowest possible niche, speak only to that one person, and do not go off path. And what happens when people follow this advice? They box themselves into something so small that they feel completely trapped. They cannot talk about anything outside of their lane that they picked, and they end up second guessing every single post that does not perfectly fit within their niche. And they end up sounding like a broken record because they are so terrified of going off topic that they lose all personality within their content. And then someone with a broader, more personality driven account comes along and builds a strong audience 3 times their size. And then they wonder why and how this person was able to do it. So I am saying this from experience. I grew my platform for being known as a Reels transition queen, teaching how to grow with Reels. And after a while, I completely lost my passion for that and hit a wall. And I didn't want to talk about it anymore because I was not passionate about it in the first place. I was more so just having fun with it while growing my business because I learned how to master it and market with it. But a few years later, when I wanted to pivot, what I guess I was teaching, I lost my community. So I stopped growing and I was losing followers every day because my content was all over the place, because it was reflecting how I was currently feeling in that moment. And my audience started to feel it too. And I have been stuck at the same number of followers for the last few years because I was feeling lost on how I could start showing up. And it definitely did a toll on my mental health. But you know what? I do not care anymore because all the followers I am losing, I want them to leave because that is not what I want to teach anymore. And it is not what I feel in alignment with. So I would prefer that they go find another Reels coach. So when I say niching down, I definitely do not hate it. I think it is marketing 101. It is important to grow and become known for something. But I also think, especially when you are just starting out, this is why it is important to figure out your niche because it will be harder for you to grow when there's so much chaos, noise on social media. So you should figure out your niche. And if you do have a niche, we know exactly what to expect from you and why we are following you in the first place. But the downfall is if you're too niche down without building your business around you, you lose your voice, your personality, and the option to pivot later on. So trust me, from someone who has been there, I couldn't get out of the niche I grew on my page because it was what I had become so strongly known for. When I tried to pivot everything, it felt like it was crumbling and I was starting from scratch. So how can we niche you down so that you can still build a community that they're there for what you teach that still makes you the go-to expert while also building a personal brand that wouldn't affect you if you decided to pivot niches down the line? Because I am going to say, if you want to grow, consistency is key with whatever you are talking about. But what makes it different is your tone, your voice, your perspective, your values, what you stand for, your different perspective on it. So if what you share is your perspective, values, and opinions on those topics, people will get attached to you and your perspective over the generic tips that everyone else is probably sharing as well. What I actually believe about niching is you do not need to niche down your topics as much as you need to niche your perspective. And what I mean by this is yes, have a clear focus area, know who you help and what you help them with. But what actually makes people follow you and stay is not how narrow your topic list is. It's how specific your point of view is. It's the way you see things, your opinions, your energy, the specific lens you bring to your content. Two people can literally talk about the exact same topic, and one of them builds a loyal audience and one of them does not. And the difference is almost never the niche, it is the personality, their perspective, and the consistency of their voice. That is what makes someone follow you, is by having a strong personal brand. What will help you is that humanized element that shows the behind the scenes of what you are building so that people feel a part of your journey and what you are building with your community. So what will make you stand out is your it factor, because we all have it. You just need to show your audience it. So having a niche gives you consistency and structure, especially when first starting off, so that you can build consistency and you build trust with your audience so that they know what you stand for. And you're also building consistency with yourself so that you know what you're posting and speaking about. If you want more on this, I will create a whole other podcast on how that you are able to niche down yourself while building a personal brand. But stop shrinking yourself to fit a niche and let the niche expand to fit you. And for number two, things we need to release when starting off and trying to grow, and is getting inspiration from industry leaders and comparing yourself and literally copying them and everything that they do when they have been doing it way longer than you. I know someone just popped into your head because there is for sure someone that you saw that inspired you to create your business that you look up to. And listen, I have been there too. When I first started building my business, those business owners still pop into my head today. And one of them was Tony Robbins and another one was Marie Folio. I was so passionate about creating like motivational content. I followed their direction, what they were doing, and thought, if they are successful, this is going to obviously work for me too. But after a while of following their video style and what they were posting, it started to feel very awkward. Like it didn't feel right or in alignment with the direction I was going. And to be honest, it felt very off brand for me. And why was this? Because I was copying someone else's voice. Even though I wasn't copying their exact verbiage, it was still not me and my brand and what was working for them. And I hadn't figured out yet what was going to work for me. So I was trying to fit myself into this box that was not mine. And let me tell you how suffocating that got when I wasn't able to sustain it anymore. So what I recommend is to figure out what your personal brand pillar is so that your audience can get to know you, your life, who you are, what you are currently building, that you can put within all of your content so that your audience can connect with you better. Because if you are only getting inspiration right now from people in your industry, think about it from your audience perspective. If your content kind of looks like everyone else's in your space, same hook, same format, same talking points, why would someone want to choose you and hire you or buy a product over the actual original version of what you're copying? They won't. They will literally just follow the person who seemed to come up with the idea first or the person with a bigger audience. Because when everything starts to look the same, people are going to default to whoever has the most social proof. So the only way to actually stand out in a crowded platform is to be more of your crazy self, not less, and definitely not the plain Jane that looks and sounds like everyone else. So your specific experience, your opinions, the way that you explain things like you would explain to your friends, your sass, your attitude, this is the thing that nobody else can copy. And ironically, that is also the thing that the most people are too afraid to lead with because it feels kind of vulnerable. It feels weird to put yourself fully on social media. But that vulnerability to show up as your goddamn self is actually what builds a loyal fan base community because people do not follow accounts that look like every other account in their feed. They follow people who say things that nobody else is going to say, or who say familiar things in a way that feels completely fresh and specific to that person. So, by all means, pay attention to what is resonating in your space, but then close the tab and ask yourself, what do I actually think about this? What is my own personal take on it? What would I say about this topic in a way that nobody else would? And that is the post worth writing. So, the next one I hate hearing, and it honestly shocks me when I hear big social media names preaching this unrealistic strategy because they're doing it, and that is posting multiple times a day to grow. Listen, this is not for me. If you have the time to do it, please go ahead. Try it out. There's so many creators that post every day or multiple times a day and their account is exploding. Of course it is. I even did this when I first started and when I ran with my account during lockdown because I had the time, and yes, it definitely helped my account. I was posting every day, not multiple, and my account exploded to 30K in 4 months because I was posting often. But now I feel so overwhelmed posting that much. I do not post even close to that. It's just not for me anymore. And I refuse to ever jump back into this unless I have a team that's making my content for me. But for the average person that is running their business solo, or you have a full-time job, I could never even imagine suggesting this strategy to you to grow your account. And you truly don't even need to post that much for your page to actually pick up traction. So if you have a proper strategy in place with your content, especially if you create a reel series or post where you post the same type of content over and over again every single week and you become known for it, it is going to be so easy for your page to pick up traction because people will be expecting that type of content from you. And so many creators blow up after posting their reel series for a while so that there's no need to be posting that many times a day. And narrow down what topic you want to be known for and consistently create a reels post that people will show up for every single week. For instance, a client of mine that was a fitness coach started a reel series. She was posting healthy and tasty cheat recipes that were low cal, and it helped her blow up her page because not only were they coming for her workouts, but they were showing up for her recipes. So find something that makes sense for your niche that will attract your dream clients and create it every single week and treat it like kind of like a reality show with the same title, style of content, vibe, so that when people see it, they already know that it's your video and your series. And if you create consistent content with your pillars, you will only really need to post like 3 to 5 times a week, and you will still be able to grow your accounts. And then the last toxic advice I want to share with you, and this one really gets to me because I see people generally restructuring their entire content strategy around trying to go viral. And it is one of the most distracting and harmful things that you can do for your business. And it's if you go viral, the dream clients will come. Ugh, make me cringe. Going viral is not a business strategy. It's like a lottery ticket. And like a lottery ticket, most people do not win. And the ones who do go viral, a lot of them will tell you it did not actually change their business the way they thought it would. And they got no sales from that viral post. Because here is what a viral post actually gets you. It gets you a ton of reach, a huge wave of people who stumbled across that one piece of content because it happened to hit at the right moment. But most of those people are not your ideal client. They're not looking for what you offer. They followed you because something made them laugh or something was relatable. And most of the time, the content that goes viral does not show your expertise or your offers. So that is kind of like a dead end to focus on. And the follow rate from a viral post, even a big one, is almost always disappointingly low. And what happens when you're just chasing to go viral? You stop creating the content that shows your expertise, your authority, and that actually converts because you are hopping on every trend or any type of content that blends you into the crowd and just dims your personality and your brand. So if your main focus right now is to chase going viral, you actually are stopping yourself from creating content that is going to convert. And the specific personal direct content that speaks to the person who is ready to work with you right now. Because content that convert does not go viral. It does not get 100,000 views to get you sales, but it gets the right, let's say 10 people into your DMs inquiring about your offer. And 10 people in your DMs is worth way more to your business than 100,000 passive viewers who are going to forget about you tomorrow after they've seen your one viral video. I've had so many viral videos, and I've always worked with people who have had viral moments, and they will be the first to tell you that their business did not change the way they expected it to. Because going viral without a clear offer, without a warm audience, without consistent messaging to back it up is just a spike on the graph that goes right back down when that video is done trending. And the pressure of trying to always create content that goes viral, it makes people create content that does not look like their own. It makes them chase trends that do not fit their brand or business. It is great to do once in a while to turn the trend into something of your own and to add a spin to it to make it make sense for your business. That is when I would recommend hopping on them. But to have that and that only as your main strategy, I promise you, you are going to burn yourself out and be very disappointed by your results. Also, do you really want your brand to fade into the crowd and literally look like everyone else's page that looks very unoriginal and boring? Or do you want to have a unique brand that is creative and showing behind the scenes of your business and what you're building and who you are? Or would you rather go to a Starbucks that looks like every other Starbucks? Or would you rather go to this super chic, trendy coffee shop that is unique and be the chic, trendy coffee shop and actually stand out from the crowd? So start focusing on posts that make your ideal client think, wow, she's actually talking directly to me. And that is going to be worth more than 1 million views from people who will never buy from you. Okay. And the last nugget I want to drop before we go is do what works best for you. You can follow all of the successful advice that actually works online and still not feel great about it because you are trying to fit yourself in a framework that wasn't yours to begin with. And what I have found over and over again is that the creators who actually build communities that convert are the ones who make their content strategy about something internal, whether that is sharing their perspective, their voice, their honest experience, their opinions, showing up with the ups and downs of their journey and bringing their audience into their world. And if this episode gave you permission to drop even one piece of toxic advice that was not working for you, that is everything for me. So please share this with another founder who needs to hear this. And if you have a piece of toxic social media advice that drives you crazy that I did not cover in this episode, I generally would love to hear it. If you could follow the show, leave a review if you are loving it so more people can find the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of The Unfiltered Founder.